The story begins with a young teenager named Rick who lives with his mother, brother, and sister. His father is estranged and in the middle of planning a messy divorce from his mother. Adding to the family chaos, Rick's sister Lucy works as a stripper, a profession that Rick deeply dislikes and finds incredibly embarrassing. Despite the dysfunction at home, Rick is completely infatuated with Nina, a beautiful girl from his school. Though he harbors deep feelings for her, he is far too shy to ever confess his love. His only solace is sharing his secrets with his best friend Billy. One afternoon, Rick visits Billy's house, unexpected and unannounced, completely unaware that this visit will set off a bizarre chain of events.
Upon arriving, Rick runs into Billy's mother, who appears strangely infatuated with him. He bypasses her and walks straight into Billy's room, catching his friend completely off guard in an awkward, private moment. Billy snaps at him for not knocking, but Rick just hands him a tissue, and the two start talking. Shortly after, Billy's mother asks her son to run an errand at the market. With Billy gone, she seizes the opportunity to sit dangerously close to Rick. Though she tries to play it off as playful banter, her intentions are clear. Rick feels deeply uncomfortable. After all, she is his best friend's mother, but she aggressively forces herself onto him. It marks Rick's very first intimate experience, and due to his sheer panic and nervousness, it ends almost instantly.
The next day at school, a conflicted Rick talks to Billy, asking for advice on how to approach Nina, keeping his encounter with Billy's mother a strict secret. Fortune seems to favor him when he learns that Nina has just broken up with her boyfriend. Sensing a clear path forward, Rick's day takes an even weirder turn when their classroom teacher suddenly drops dead mid-lesson. While tragic, the students are secretly thrilled to get an unexpected day off. Seizing the moment, Rick builds up the courage to approach Nina and invites her to attend the teacher's funeral with him. She agrees, and during the outing, the two connect deeply, sparking a genuine bond. During their conversation, Nina mentions how desperately she wants to attend a local peace concert, but laments that she doesn't have a pass. Eager to impress her, Rick promises he will find a way to get them in.
To fulfill his promise, Rick reaches out to Jimmy, the manager of the strip club where his sister works. Jimmy agrees to provide 3 concert passes, but demands a favor in return. He hands Rick an address and asks him to retrieve a package. When Rick arrives at the location, he discovers the package is actually a stash of illegal drugs. Terrified but determined to get the passes, he successfully delivers the contraband back to Jimmy. Looking for Billy to celebrate, Rick heads over to his house. Billy isn't home, but his mother is. Once again, she corners Rick and forces him into an intimate encounter against his will. To make matters worse, when Rick, Billy, and Nina head to the club later that night to collect the concert passes, Jimmy cold-heartedly lies and claims he doesn't have them. Their grand plans are ruined, but the shared disappointment brings Rick and Nina even closer, blossoming into mutual romantic affection.
The next day, Rick's mother leaves town, leaving Rick and his sister home alone. Hoping to throw a fun get-together, Rick heads out to invite Billy, only to be ambushed yet again by Billy's relentless mother, who drags him inside her house. By the following day, Rick, Billy, and Nina decide to cut class entirely to spend the day joyriding. Rick borrows a car from a friend for a late-night long drive. The fun comes to a screeching halt when the police pull them over and take all 3 to the precinct. There, Rick receives a shocking revelation. The car he borrowed belonged to a deceased gangster, and even worse, the gangster's corpse was just discovered stuffed inside the trunk of Rick's mother's car. Rick is utterly clueless and deeply framed, but a mysterious lawyer suddenly arrives to post his bail. The relief is short-lived. During the car ride home, the predatory lawyer tries to make unwanted sexual advances toward Rick. Horrified, Rick manages to escape the vehicle and flees.
Arriving home, Rick finds his sister throwing a massive party, packed with fellow strippers. Feeling like his entire life is spiraling out of control, desperation sparks an entrepreneurial idea. He convinces Billy that they can turn this chaotic house party into a massive money-making scheme by charging their classmates admission. Within hours, Rick's house is transformed into a wild makeshift nightclub. The venture is a massive financial success, but things take a dark turn when Nina arrives. Rick pulls her into his room, frantically explaining that the stripper party was his sister's doing. Nina believes him, realizing she has truly fallen for him. But just as they are about to kiss, Billy's mother barges into the room. Her chaotic, revealing remarks expose the hidden affair between herself and Rick. Heartbroken and disgusted, Nina storms out. Rick chases after her, begging for forgiveness, just as a fleet of police cars raids the house party.
The raid turns into absolute chaos. When an enraged Nina tries to physically strike Rick in frustration, she accidentally hits a police officer instead. A massive brawl erupts between the partygoers and the police. Ultimately, the officers arrest everyone involved, except Rick, who managed to stay out of the physical melee. The next day, a guilt-ridden Rick visits his friends and family in jail. His sister begs for bail, and Billy furiously blames him for the entire mess. When he visits Nina, she refuses to accept his apologies, telling him to stop blaming circumstances and to finally take responsibility for his actions. Realizing he is the cause of everyone's misery, Rick makes a desperate deal. He returns to the corrupt lawyer who bailed him out, offering his full-time services and labor in exchange for the immediate release of his friends and family. The lawyer agrees, and everyone is freed. Sometime later, Rick runs into Nina again. With the chaos behind them and responsibilities accepted, the lingering barriers between them finally melt away. The two share a passionate kiss, bringing this wild, unpredictable coming-of-age story to a close.